Ayan, hello, good evening everyone. Good evening po, good evening. Ayan, magandang gabi po sa lahat. Magandang gabi, magandang gabi. Ayan, magandang gabi sa lahat, magandang gabi. Ayan, andito ulit kami ni Coach Peter. Ayan, sige, sige, sige. Pa-share pa ako ng live natin, teachers. Pa-share pa ako ng live session na ito. Ayan, maraming salamat po. Hello, hello. Ayan, while waiting for others, pa-comment po ng ano nyo, location po nila. Ayan, magandang gabi, magandang gabi, magandang gabi. Yes po, good evening, good evening. Ayan, good evening po. Hello, 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 hello. Ayan, good evening, good evening, good evening. Ayan, good evening. Edu students from CVSU, Tanza. Ayan. Buluan, Maguindanao, good evening po. Occidental Mindoro, good evening. Zamboanga, Sibugay, good evening. Ayan. Isabela Luzon, good evening. Surala, South Cotabato, good evening. Isabela ulit, good evening. Cavite, good evening. Kidapawan City, North Cotabato, good evening. Zamboanga del Norte, good evening po. Bato Camarines Sur, good evening. Ayan. Hello, good evening. Ayan. Teachers, pa-share po ako ng live natin na ito. Ayan, maraming salamat po. Ayan. Kabangkalan City, good evening. Cagayan Valley, good evening. Gataran, Cagayan Valley. Thailand, good evening. Teacher Cory Zeru. Ayan. Thailand. Palawan, good evening. Catanduanes, good evening po. Albay, good evening. Ayan. Catarman Samar, good evening. Ayan. Konting share na lang po, teachers. Konting share na lang po para makapag-start na tayo. Katbalogan Samar, good evening po. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Live natin na ito. Ayan. Maraming salamat po. Ayan. Good evening, Bicol, Albay, Bicol. Camiguin, good evening. Oriental Mindoro, good evening. Ayan, Camig, Oriental Mindoro. Tugigaraw City. Ayan, good evening po. Pangasinan, good evening. Tumawini, Isabela. Ayan, good evening po. Ayan, waiting na lang sa result. Yes po. Alamino City, good evening. Ayan, malapit lang. Alamino City, Pangasinan. Tawi-Tawi, good evening. Mati City, Davao Oriental, good evening po. Palawan, good evening. Bayawan City, Negros Oriental, good evening po. Ayan, teachers, konting share na lang po para makapag-start na po tayo. Ayan, thank you so much. Ayan. Ayan, sige. Pa-comment po dyan ng hashtag LPT March 2023 para makapag-start na tayo. Hashtag LPT March 2023. Ayan. Hashtag LPT March 2023. Ayan. Ordanitas City, Pangasinan, good evening po. Candaba, Pampanga, good evening. Santiago City, good evening po. Ayan. Ayan, amazing lecture. Ayan, sige po. Calbayog City, good evening. Ayan. Isabela, good evening po. Bayawan City, Negros Oriental, good evening po ulit. Ayan. Hashtag LPT March 2023. Ayan, sa mga gustong pumasa ng March 2023, Ayan, hashtag LPT March 2023. Ayan, pa-comment po dyan sa chat box natin para maano natin. At makapag-start na po tayo, ayan, with our, sabihin ko bang in-house? In-house. Sige, sige, sige. Ayan, ang dami nang nag-comment ang hashtag LPT March 2023. LPT March 2023. Ayan, sige. Okay, sige. Start na tayo. Ayan. Hindi ko na iano, wag na hindi ko na iano ng marami pang ano si Coach Peter natin, ang ating coach ng Prof Ed na lagi niyo nang nakikita dito sa page ni Teacher Seppi. Ayan, good evening po coach. Good evening po. Good evening coach. Ayan na si Coach Peter. Ayan, coach, kayo na po ang bahala sa kanila
Hello
coach.
po.
Laban po.
Yes po, thank you po, Teacher Selfie. Good evening po sa ating lahat. Ayan, magandang gabi po sa ating mga future LPT, ano? Again, now pa lang po, no, I would like to congratulate everyone na agad for passing the board exam. Now, the reason why, again, we are here on this live this evening, it's because we chose teaching as our profession, as our future profession. And this is actually the part 2 po ng ating discussion about teaching profession. Kung hindi mo pa napanood yung ating first part, you can visit the Facebook page of Teacher Seppi or ang kanyang YouTube channel to watch our first episode ng ating teaching profession. Okay, now let's start our review. Let us recall our different legal bases in teaching. We have your PD 1006. Also, we have your Republic Act number 4670 and your RA 7277. Again, teacher, ano po ibig sabihin ng PD 1006? Kapag po ating nababasa ang Presidential Decree number 1006, para saan po ba si 1006? Again, to our future teachers, ayan, para saan po ba si PD 1006? Again, when we are talking of this PD 1006, this is known as your PVET. Tama po yan. This is our PVET. Ito po yung pinakaunang board exam ng ating mga teachers before. Okay, now, ano po yung percentage of passing, okay, under PVET? Ano po ang percentage of passing under PBET? Ito po ba ay 50%? Ito po ba ay 60%? 70% or 75%? Ano po ang ating passing score for PD 1006 under your PVET? Exactly, that is 70%. Okay, that is 70%. Hindi po 75 ba? It is 70%. And we only have one exam for elementary and for secondary. Okay? Wala po tayong major set exam during that PVET. Okay? How about your RA 4670? Para saan naman po si RA 4670? Okay? To my future teachers, para saan naman po si RA 4670? Sige, let's recall from our first part of our discussion in teaching profession. Nabanggit po natin kung para saan po si RA 4670. Okay, para saan po si RA 4670? Okay, again, when we are talking of your RA 4670, this is your Magna Carta for public school teachers. It means that to promote and to improve the social and economic status of all teachers. Okay, their living and even their working conditions. That is your RA 4670. How about your RA 7277? Okay, para saan naman po si RA 7277? Ano naman po ang kino-cover ng RA 7277? Remember, inside of a classroom, we can actually observe different types of learners. They have different multiple intelligences. They have different learning styles. They have different conditions. Okay, they have different medical or health conditions. That's why ngayon ang pinopropose, ang inamandate ng DepEd is education for all. Okay, dito po kabilang yung ating Magna Carta for Disabled Person. That is your RA 7277. Okay, remember, it's about the integration and mainstreaming of learners with special needs in a regular classroom, especially if that learners is improving in a specific skills. That's why kailangan silang i-mainstream. Okay, that is our RA 7277. Also, we have your RA 9155. Para saan naman po ang RA 9155? Okay? Ano po yung ating keyword when we heard the word or when we heard the keyword RA 9155? Ano po ang purpose ni RA 9155? Okay, para saan po si RA 9155? Very good, no? When we are talking of RA 9155, this is your DEX to DepEd. Ibig sabihin, tinransform po si DEX into DepEd. That's why we have now your Governance of Basic Education Act. It covers your primary, your secondary, and even your senior high school. Okay? Also, we have your RA 6847. Before, yung ating DEXPO, this is a three agency. We have your DepEd, we have your culture, and we have your sports. Nasa iisang organization po yung tatlo na yon. But because of this, humiwalay po yung ating DepEd, also humiwalay din yung ating PSC, at humiwalay din po yung ating NCCA. Okay? Because of this RA 6847, nabuo po yung ating Philippine Sports Commission. This is a regulatory national agency with the responsibility of coordinating all amateur sports development. That is your RA 6847. Also, we have your RA 7356. This is your NCCA, or the National Commission for Culture and the Arts. It is an agency that implement policies for the development of Filipino national culture and the arts. Okay? Dati po, iisa po yan. That is your DEX. But because of this different legal basis, because of this different Republic Acts, nahiwalay po sila into different agencies. Okay? That is your DEX to DepEd and PSC and your NCCA. Okay? That is your RA 9155, RA 6847, and your RA 7356. Okay, now let's have recall. Let us recall your RA 4670. The question is, who are the teachers under this law? Sino po yung ating mga kino-consider as our teachers under RA 4670? Okay, when we are talking of teachers under this RA 4670, remember, okay, there are teachers shall mean all persons engaged in classroom teaching in any level of instruction on full-time basis. Okay, sino po ba yung mga public teachers na yan? Okay? Are they only concerned into instruction? Yes or no? Kapag po ba sinabing teacher under RA 4670, yan lang po ba ay concerned into instruction? Yes or no? Or can we include librarian? Can we include other teachers who has functions under administrative and supervisory roles? Okay? Siyempre, hindi po. Okay? Hindi lang po yan nakapokus sa instruction. Also, we can include, okay, we can include our guidance counselors, your librarians, industrial and vocational instructors, and all other persons performing performing administrative and supervisory functions. Lahat po yan ay covered under this term teacher under your RA 4670. Okay? Kasama po ba ang school nurses, ang physicians under term teacher in 4670? Yes or no? Kasama po ba ang ating mga nurses, ang ating mga physicians as term teacher under RA 4670? Kasama po ba sila? Siyempre, hindi po sila kasama. Okay? Hindi po ini-include ang ating mga school nurses, school physicians, and school dentists, and other school employees under 4670. Okay? The answer there is no. Okay? Hindi po kasama ang ating mga school nurses, school physicians, and school dentists. Okay, under the term teacher when we are talking of your RA 4670. Now, how about RA 7836? Sino po ang mga teachers under this RA 7836? Okay, remember, when we are talking of RA 7836, these are our elementary and secondary teachers. Okay, including your industrial arts or vocational teachers. And all other persons performing supervisory and or administrative functions in all schools. Okay, that is your RA 7836. Okay, now let's move on to our first question this evening. Teacher B has been in active service for 10 years. Okay, si Teacher B daw ay active for service for 10 years when he decided to pursue higher status. Under RA 4670 or Magna Carta for public school teachers, what kind of leave of absence can she avail of? A. Indefinite leave. B. Scholarship. C is study or vacation leave. Okay? Kung ikaw po ay 10 years in service and you want to have or to pursue higher studies such as doctorate or master's degree, okay, ang gusto mong i-pursue, anong klaseng leave po kaya ang pwede mong i-avail? Is this indefinite? Is this scholarship leave? Is this study leave or vacation leave? Okay, sagot po tayo mga future teachers. Now I can see most of you, your answer is letter C. Letter C, study leave. Okay, now let's reveal the answer. The correct answer po for our item number 1 is study leave. Now under your section 24 of RA 4670 under study leave, remember, ikaw po ay pwedeng mag-pursue or ikaw ay entitled to have this study leave if ikaw ay nakapagbigay ng ilang taong service. Okay? Ilang taong service sa school. Okay? Ikaw po ay pwede or ikaw ay entitled for this study leave kung ikaw ay nakapag-cater or nakapagbigay ng service for how many years? Is it 10 years dapat? Or right away? Ano, pagpasok mo ng school, pagka-permanent mo, ikaw ba ay entitled agad to have study leave? Or you need to wait for 5 years? Or 7 years? Or 3 years lang? Okay, ilang years po yung kailangan para ikaw ay mabigyan? Okay? Para ikaw ay entitled doon sa ating sinasabing study leave. Ilang years po dapat yung service nating binibigay? Okay, 3 years po ba? 7 years po ba? Okay, remember, tayo po ay magiging entitled into this study leave kung tayo po ay nakapag-cater, okay, tayo po ay nakapag-cater ng 7 years of service. So, ibig sabihin, hindi po pwede na ikaw ay mag-study leave agad kung ikaw pa lang ay nagbibigay ng 2 or 3 years of service dun sa school na pinagtatrabahuhan mo. Dapat it should be 7 years of service. Okay? After mo pong makapagbigay or makapag-cater ng 7 years of service, then you are now entitled to have a study leave. Okay, the question is, ilang taon po ang binibigay kay teacher dito sa study leave na ito? Okay? Under RA 4670, ilang years po kaya yung pwede nating makuha? Okay? Or maibigay sa atin as our study leave? Ilang years po? Is it 2 years? Is it 1 year only? Is it 3 years or 4 years? Ilang years po yung pwedeng ibigay, okay, ng gobyerno sa atin for our study leave? Ilang years po? Okay. Remember that during the period of such leave, the teacher shall be entitled to at least, okay, to at least 1 year. 1 year lang po, okay, ang binibigay sa atin for our study leave. Now, the question is, ilang percent po ng ating sahod yung ating pwedeng matanggap when we are on a study leave? Is it 25%? Is it 50%? Or 60%? Or 70% of our monthly salary? ilang percent po yung ating pwedeng matanggap? Okay? 70 po ba? 60 po ba or 50%? Ayan, may sumasagot na. I can see 25%, 60%, 70%. Ayan. Okay? 60%, 20%. Okay, remember po, tayo po ay entitled for at least 60% of our monthly salary. Kung ang iyo pong monthly salary is salary grade 11, kasi ikaw ay teacher 1 for example, then you are entitled of, okay, you are entitled of 60% of your monthly salary. Now, the question is, pwede ka bang mag-exceed dun sa 1 year na yan? For example, ikaw ay nag-avail ng iyong 1 year study leave. And then, hindi mo natapos because of siguro mahaba, okay? Siguro mahaba yung iyong yung thesis, yung research mo. So kailangan mo pa ng another 6 months. Okay? Ikaw po ba ay pwedeng bigyan ng 6 months as extension? Okay? Pwede po ba? Are we entitled, okay, to have that 6 months pa? Yes, pwede siya. Tama. Pwede pa po, pero wala po yung bayad. Hindi po yun compensated. Ibig sabihin, pwede mo pang i-extend ng 6 months po yung iyong study leave. Okay, for example, 1 year and 6 months kasi nga hindi mo siya natapos, pero hindi na po yun compensated. Okay, exactly po. Yes po ang sagot doon, but without compensation. Again, the answer there is yes, but without compensation. Ibig sabihin, pwede mong tapusin yung iyong pag-aaral, okay? Pero walang bayad yun. Okay, yung after 1 year na yon, wala po siyang bayad. Okay? Very good po tayo dyan. Okay, remember, no teacher shall be allowed to accumulate more than 1 year study leave unless he needs an additional semester to finish his thesis for a graduate study in education or allied courses. Pero po, hindi na po yon compensated. Okay, that's the reality or that's the idea of our study leave under RA 4670. Okay, now let's move on to our next question. Teacher H contracted an illness that required rest for more than 1 year. Okay, which leave should she apply? Okay, ano pong klaseng leave ang pwedeng applyan ni Teacher H kung siya ay merong sakit na kailangan ng mahaba, okay, na mahabang time para siya ay makapagpagaling. Okay, it's like more than a year. Okay, is this sick leave? Is this personal leave? Is this vacation leave or indefinite leave? Anong klase kayang leave ang pwedeng i-avail ni Teacher H? Ayan, medyo confusing po yung ating sagot dito, no? It's between sick leave or indefinite leave. Siguro nabasa natin, kasi meron yung term na illness. Siguro sick ito. Siguro kasi more than 1 year. So baka ito ay indefinite. Okay, sige po. Ano po ang sagot natin for this item number? Okay, most of you, no? Sumasagot ng letter A, may sumasagot ng letter D. Sige, sige, sagot po tayo. Okay, the correct answer for this item is indefinite leave. Tama po yan. Wala pong kasiguraduhan kung kailan po pwedeng gumaling si Teacher H. Okay? That's why the answer here is your indefinite leave. Now, let's talk about your indefinite leave under RA 4670. Okay? Under Section 25 of our 4670, an indefinite sick leave of absence shall be granted to the teachers. Remember, please take note, this is be granted to the teachers when the nature of the illness demands a long term. Okay, long term that will exceed 1 year at least. So, ibig sabihin, kapag po serious, sorry, kapag po serious, no, yung kanyang sakit, kailangan po ng long-term treatment, then ang i-apply po ni teacher is indefinite leave. Okay, so the correct answer for that item is letter D. That's your indefinite leave. Your sick leave alone is actually a days lang yan eh. A days or a week. Pero kapag po kailangan ng long-term treatment at kapag umaabot ng 1 year, ano, that's the keyword there. No? Pag umaabot po ng 1 year, yung kailangan na treatment for that certain illness or sickness, then kailangan niya pong mag-apply ng kanyang indefinite leave. Okay? That's your section number 25 of our RA 4670. Okay, how about this item? What is ethical for you to do if deep within your heart you do not agree with the school policy on student absences? Okay, A. Be vocal about your feeling and opinion against the policy. Letter B. Understand the policy and support the schools in its implementation. Or letter C. Argue with your superior to convince him to change the policy. Or letter D, keep your pilling to yourself but make insinuations that you are against it while you teach. Okay? Ano po ang pwedeng gawin ni teacher? Is it letter A, letter B, letter C, or letter D? Okay? If this is actually a school policy, syempre po, yan po ay dumaan sa mga masinsinang usapan, ano, kasama po ang mga teachers, kasama ang mga nasa admin, kasama ang mga parents. Okay, lahat po ay nag-agree sa school policy na yon. But you are not agree with that policy. What should you do? Ikaw ba gagawa ng chismis? Ikaw ba ay magiging against doon, against of the school policy? Or you just understand and follow the policy? Okay? I think most of you know your answer is letter B. Understand the policy and support the school in its implementation. And some of you know the answer is letter A daw. Be vocal about your feeling and opinion against the policy. Okay? But the right thing to do, no? The right thing to do here is letter B. To understand the policy and support the school in its implementation. Sabi ko nga kanina, ito po ay dumaan sa mga meetings. Ito po ay dumaan sa mga conferences. Okay, yung mga policies na yan. At kasama po si parents, si teachers, and even the students in creating this school policy. That's why you have to understand, especially if you are a new teacher in the school at ikaw ay na-culture shock with the policy, then no, kailangan mo pong i-follow na lang. Exactly. The policy is being agreed by the stakeholders. When we are talking of that stakeholders, kasama ang parents, ang teachers, ang students, at lahat po ng kabilang sa society. Okay, as long as may kinalaman sa school. Okay? How about this item? What does living with dignity in all places at all times? Okay, ano kayong ibig sabihin nun? As provided for RA 4670 and Article 11 of the Code of Ethics. Okay, ano pong ibig sabihin? Ng living with dignity in all places at all times. Remember, as the teacher, we are, okay, we should uphold high dignity even we are inside or outside the school. Si teacher po, hindi po pwede na tayo ay malasing outside. Ano, na talagang lasing na nagwawala tayo. Hindi po pwede si teacher ay mag-include sa kanyang gambling. Okay? Hindi po pwede si teacher ay maging drug pusher. Okay? Because that is against the law. That is against the code of ethics of professional teachers. Okay? Now, is it letter A? Living together with someone whose marriage has not been legally annulled. Or letter B, judicious disbursement of funds entrusted to the teacher or administrator. Or letter C, inflicting corporal punishment to erring students whose parents consented to such use. Or maintaining a mini casino with the community to help the unemployed. Okay? Ano po ang sagot for this item? I think most of you got the correct answer, no? It's letter. Yes, the correct answer for this item is letter B. Okay, it's about judicious disbursement of funds entrusted to the teacher and or administrator. Okay, that's the correct answer for this item. How about this item number 5? Teachers often complain of numerous teaching assignment, okay, or non-teaching assignments that adversely affect their teaching. Thus, this means that teachers must be preoccupied only with their teaching. Okay? What's the answer? Is it A? Yes, because teaching is enough full-time job. Mm-hmm. Is it B? Yes, if they are given other assignments, justice demands that they be properly compensated. Or letter C, no, because every teacher is expected to provide leadership in activities for the betterment of the communities, whether they live at work. Or letter D, no, they are also babysitters, especially in the preschool. Okay, what's the answer po? Is this Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, or Delta? Okay, please go back to the STEM. Teachers often complain of numerous non-teaching assignments that adversely affect their teaching. Okay, thus, this means that teachers must be preoccupied only with their teaching. Yun po ba yung ibig sabihin nun? Na dapat si teacher ay nakafocus lang sa instruction? Hindi na ba siya pwedeng gumawa ng ibang trabaho? Or pwede siyang bigyan ng assignment pero dapat siya ay properly compensated? Or dapat hindi siya binibigyan ng kahit anong non-teaching work? Okay? Kasi po hindi yun kasama sa role niya. Ganun ba yun? Sige nga, ano pong sagot? It's letter B or letter C? Ayan, most of your answer is letter C. Why letter C? No, because every teacher is expected to provide leadership in activities for the betterment of the communities where they live and work. Mhm. Hindi ba yan letter B? That yes, if they are given other assignments, justice demands that they be properly compensated. Okay, sabi diyan, justifiable din ang B pero C talaga. Okay, sige. What's the answer? What's the answer po? Mhm. Okay, the correct answer for this item is letter B. Okay, saan po nakabilang si letter B? Remember, this is your RA under also our RA 4670, Section 13, Teaching Hours. Okay, remember, okay, at any teacher engaged in actual classroom instruction shall not be required to render more than 6 hours. Okay, tanda natin that this 6 hours is our actual classroom teaching. Okay, in a day yan, which shall be so scheduled as to give him time for the preparation and correction of exercises and other work. Remember, 6 hours is allotted for teaching, 2 hours is allotted for the checking of activities, for paperworks, preparation of items, and others. Okay? Now, provided, however, that where the exigencies of the service so require, any teacher may be required to render more than 6 hours. Okay, but not exceeding 8 hours of actual classroom teaching a day. Okay? Dapat po meron siyang additional compensation. Ilang percent po yung binibigay natin? Okay? Ilang percent po yung binibigay as additional compensation? Ito po ay 25% of his basic pay po. Okay? 25% basic, no, ng kanyang basic pay po yung kailangang i-add, no, na compensation, especially kung siya ay may additional work or task na ginagawa. Especially in the number of teaching hours. Tandaan po natin, sa loob ng classroom, hindi lang po teaching ang ginagawa ng isang teacher. That's why ngayon pa lang po, no, we have to assess Gusto ko ba talagang maging teacher? Kailangan ko ba talagang ipasa 'tong exam na ito? Okay? Ano bang ginagawa ko sa live na 'to? Bakit ba ako nakikinig sa live na 'to? Okay? Tandaan po natin, hindi lang po teaching ang ginagawa ni teacher sa loob ng classroom. Especially that they have a lot of work, especially during the pandemic time. They prepare their materials, they print their materials, they deliver their materials, and they deliver their instruction. So, ang dami-daming binibigay ng mga trabaho ng mga teachers in terms of their chosen profession. So, ang kailangan natin gawin, talagang kailangan ng passion 'to, eh. Kailangan talaga ng dedication 'to, 'no? Kailangan talaga ng patience 'to. Okay, that's why now you have to assess yourself. Gusto mo ba talagang maging teachers? Given the fact na ang daming mga extension activities, ang daming mga additional jobs ang kailangan nating gawin. Not only curricular but also extracurricular. Okay? That is the answer there under your section 13 of our teaching hours. Okay? How about this item number? When can teachers be required to work, okay, to work on assignment not related to their duties and nag-relieve? Mhm. Mhm. Ah, actually yan kasi madam, tayo po talaga ay kailangan nating how do you call this? Um, Kailangan po nating mag-file ng leave of absence. Okay? Para po hindi tayo mabawasan, ang ginagawa doon, nagre-remedial class tayo. Okay? Now, it depends kung dumaan po ba sa proper authority yung kanyang leave of absence or siya ay nag-leave lang ng walang paalam or umabsent ng walang paalam. Okay? But sometimes, compensated po yon as long as you do your remedial classes. At meron ka pong letter na binigay from your superiors, from the admin for example, to your principal or to your program chair for example, okay, yun po ay compensated. Mhm. Okay, so what's the answer po for this item? When can teachers be required to work on assignment not related to their duties? Is it when on probation, when found inefficient, when lacking in educational qualifications, or when compensated under existing law? Okay? Ikaw po ay pwedeng magtrabaho not related to your duties if you are compensated under existing law. Ito po yung binabanggit natin under additional compensation kanina. So, ibig sabihin, dapat po tayo ay bayad. Okay? Siyempre, we give our service. And it is a just and it is a just lang dapat po and fair na dapat no, kitain din natin yung binibigay nating service. Okay? Yung ating binibigay na effort. But in reality, ito po ba ay totoo or hindi? Sometimes ano parang hindi ata siya totoo. Okay? I have a lot of friends no working in DepEd also that they do their best, they do their job, you know. Sometimes they do overnight just to finish their job, no. Pero parang hindi ata ramdam yung 25% of additional compensation. Okay? Hindi ata ramdam yung 25% na additional compensation. Okay? Siguro ramdam but not in a sense na ramdam nila because hindi natutumbasan ano, hindi natutumbasan yung work that of 25%. Okay? Now, how about this item? Remember ano that in section 14 of this additional compensation, remember no that any provision of existing law to the contrary, co-curricula and out of school activities and any other activities outside, okay? Outside, quote unquote to, outside of what is defined as normal duties. Ano po bang ibig sabihin ng normal duties? Ito po yung ating 6 hours of teaching and 2 hours of paperworks. That is your normal duty as a teacher. So, ibig sabihin, kapag ikaw ay gumagawa ng outside of that normal duty mo, kailangan ikaw ay bayaran ng 25% as additional compensation. Okay? As additional compensation. Kasi nga, ikaw po ay nagbibigay ng service more than that normal duty. Okay? Yes. No comment po ako sa inyong mga comments dyan. Basta we have to follow what is written on the law. Okay, that's the our RA 4670 section 14 additional compensation. Okay? Now how about this item? Teacher U was ordered by her principal to come to school on 4 consecutive Saturdays. Ayan na yon. 4 consecutive Saturdays. Mhm. For the training of students' editorial staff of their school paper. Is this allowed under RA 4670? Okay? A. Yes, provided the teacher is compensated. B. No, because it is regular functions of the classroom teacher. Letter C. Yes, because it is part of the teacher's other duties. Or letter D. No, because it is not clearly indicated in the law. Okay? Kung kayo si teacher at kayo ay pinapapasok, no, to have service, to train your, for example, you are a PE teacher, you have a dance troupe, you are an English teacher, meron kang like editorial training. Okay? Ikaw ay isang Filipino teacher, you have a writing workshop every Saturday. Ikaw ay isang TLA teacher and you have this work to do in every Saturdays. Okay, ano pong gagawin mo bilang isang teacher? Remember, kapag tayo po ay sumasagot no, sa Prof. Ed, it should always be based on laws. Okay? And it should always be the best answer. At dapat lagi pong mabait. Okay? Yung pinapakita natin sa sagot natin. Okay? What's the answer po? Siguro Sir Elmark, kapag tayo po ay nagno-no sa isang trabaho, iba po yung magiging reflection sa atin ng ating mga superiors, ng ating mga supervisors. Especially if you are a beginning teacher, and you are actually taking a lot of experiences sa lahat ng mga ginagawa mo. Ang kailangan mo pong gawin ay mag-yes dun sa mga ginagawa natin. Okay? Kailangan mo pong mag-yes dun sa mga binibigay na work sa'yo. Mhm. So what's the answer po dito? Ikaw ba ay magno-no or mag-yes on this certain scenario? Okay, what should be your answer? Yes, provided the teacher is compensated. Or yes, because it is part of teacher's other duties. Ito po ay napaka-evident sa ating mga teachers that even Saturdays and Sundays we are in school, giving service to our school, giving service to our work. Mhm. Okay, so the answer here is yes. Kasi sometimes in reality, kahit hindi ka PE teacher, ikaw ay bibigyan ng work. Like for example, ikaw ay magiging coach ng isang volleyball team sa inyong school dahil walang pwedeng kuhanin. Ikaw ay magiging coach sa isang dance competition. Ikaw ay isang coach sa isang broadcasting competition. Okay? Now, kahit hindi siya parte ng trabaho natin, we should say yes because this is part of our teacher's other duties. Okay? Kailangan po nating mag-yes dun sa mga yon. Because lahat po ng iyon ay magle-level as our experiences that can also help us not to become effective teachers. That's why we have to say yes even though this is not compensated. Kasi po, yun po ay bibilang sa ating curriculum vitae later on na ikaw ay nag-champion during that time because you train your athletes, your learners for example. Okay, ikaw ay nakapagpapunta ng national athlete or national player or isang national writer. Okay? Napabilang ka sa NSPC because you train them every Saturday, then magiging good reflection yun sa pangalan mo. Hindi ka man bayad, but ikaw ay nakilala. Okay? So, kasama yun sa iyong other duties. Exactly. Pwede mo siyang isama sa iyong credentials, especially kapag winners yung mga tinitrain natin. Okay? It will become part of our credentials later on. Okay? How about this item? How is gradual progression of teacher salary from minimum to maximum done? Okay? Is letter A, regular increment every year? Or letter B, regular increment after 10 years of service? Or letter C, regular increment every 3 years? Or increment after 5 years? Okay? Paano po ba mag-increase ang ating mga sahod? Okay? Sometimes si teacher talagang nagha-heart yung ating mga mata 'pag ang pinag-uusapan ay pagtaas ng sahod Kapag ang message sa GC ay salary increase, talagang nagha-heart yung ating mga mata. Sige, what's the answer po for this item? Okay? Gradual progression of teachers' salary from minimum to maximum done. Okay? Ang increment po ng ating sahod ay every 3 years. Yes, the answer po for this item is Charlie. Now, let's talk about this. Okay, this increment. Remember, this is actually indicated, okay, or stipulated in our RA 4670. This is under section 16 of our salary scale. Remember, okay, and take note that salary scales of teachers shall provide for a gradual progression from a minimum to a maximum salary by means of regular increments granted automatic yan. Okay? Every after 3 years. Okay? Now, provided that the efficiency rating, tandaan ha, nakabase po ang increment or pagtaas ng sahod sa efficiency rating ng teacher. Okay? Dapat po siya ay satisfactory. Yung kanyang teaching instruction is satisfactory. Doon po binibase yung pag-increase ng ating sahod. Okay? That is your salary scale under Section 16 in your RA 4670. Okay, that's the answer here. Now, which of the following provisions under the Magna Carta for public school teachers will most likely promote teachers' welfare and defend their interest? Okay? Teachers' welfare and defend their interests. Is it A, be promoted in rank and salary? Mhm. Or letter B, regulate their social involvement. Or letter C, undergo and practice or participate in professional development. Or letter D, establish, join, and maintain professional and self-regulation organization. Ayan. Na-flash ko po ang sagot. Na-flash ko po ang sagot. So what's the answer po? Teachers' welfare and defend their interests. Okay? Now, we can actually establish, and join and maintain professional and self-regulation organization. Ito po ay kabilang sa ating RA 4670 under Section 27. This is about freedom to organize. Okay, ito po ay kasama under freedom to organize. Remember, public school teachers shall have the right to freely and without previous authorization both to establish and to join organizations of their own, okay, of their own choice, whether this is local or national, to further defend their interests. Okay, that's the answer po for this item. Okay, it's about freedom to organize. That is under Section 27 of your Republic Act number 4670. Okay? Now, how about this item? We are actually talking of para-teacher. Sino po ang qualified to be a para-teacher? Okay? Can a failed examinee qualify for the position of para-teacher? Is it a no? Yes. Yes, if his let rating is below 75. Or letter D, yes, if his let rating is 70 and above. Okay, sino po kaya yung pwedeng maging para-teacher? Mhm. Sino po ba ang allowed na maging para-teacher? Okay? Sige po, sagot po tayo. May sumasagot ng letter C. May sumasagot ng letter D. Okay? Kapag po yan ay below 75, pwede siyang 69. Pwede siyang 71. Pwede siyang 68, 'di ba? Pero if this is 70 and above, pwede siyang 70, 71, 72, 73, 74. Kapag 75, then you are a passer. Okay? So what's the answer? This is, okay, the answer here is your letter D. If your rating is 70 and above, especially if that is 70 to 74, then you are qualified to become a para teacher. Okay? Next question. Based on RA 9293, may all who failed in the LET be deployed as para teachers? Okay? This is the same, ano? This is the same. The same question earlier. The answer here is no. Only those with an average rating of 70 to 74. Okay, so the answer po for this item is letter A. Now, this is actually based on Republic Act number 9293. Sino po ba or ano ba bang ibig sabihin ng RA 9293? Okay, remember, this is an act amending certain sections of Republic Act number 7836. Okay, or our Philippine Teachers Professionalization Act of 1994. Okay, inamend po yung iba't ibang sections doon. Okay, now, remember, the Tara teachers are professional teachers, okay, with a rating of not lower than 5% of the passing rate. So 75 po yung ating passing rate, then dapat po nasa 70 to 74 po yung ating average para tayo ay ma-qualify to become a para teacher. Pero, siya po ay binibigyan lamang at siya ay eligible as para teacher upon issuance by the Board of 2 special year. Okay, 2-year special permit lang po ang binibigay sa kanya. Okay, pero this is renewable for a non-extendable period of 2 years. Okay, yun po yung ating mga para teachers. Now, saan po pwedeng ilagay ang isang para teacher? Okay? If you want to serve as a para teacher, saan ka po pwedeng ilagay na school? Okay? Ikaw ba ay pwedeng mag-work sa mga cities as para teachers? Saan po? Saan po nilalagay ang mga para teachers natin? Remember, that our para teacher shall be assigned to areas, where there is a shortage or absence of professional teacher. Hindi po private schools, ha? Hindi po private schools. Okay, remote areas. Pwede po. Like, yes, our Autonomous Region for Muslim Mindanao or yung ating ARMM or some of the school that is actually identified by the Department of Education. No? Doon po pwedeng ilagay. Okay? At ipunta yung ating mga para teachers. But not in private schools. Kasi even though you are not a licensed teacher, may mga some schools, na mga private schools that they actually hire teachers. Okay? And they give years for you to be able to pass the exam. Okay? Exactly. Sa mga liblib na lugar, sa mga far-flung areas, sa mga remote areas, doon po nilalagay yung ating mga para teachers. Okay? Now, next question. Can Manny Pacquiao be given a special permit to teach in grade 1 to 10? Ayan, pinag-uusapan si Manny Pacquiao. Si Manny Pacquiao po ba ay pwedeng magturo sa ating Department of Education, especially in grades 1 to 10? Okay? Or Lea Salonga, for example? Or si Carlos Yulo, for example? Pwede po ba silang magturo? The answer is A. No, he has to earn 18 units of Prof. Ed. Or letter B, no, he has no license to teach. Bakit siya magtuturo? Or letter C, yes, if he is a graduate of Alternative Learning System or ALS. Or letter D, yes, if he has excelled and gained international recognition. So what's the answer po? Allowed po ba si Manny Pacquiao to teach? Okay, in grade 1 to 10. Is it yes? Okay, no? Or yes? Depende daw sa field. Sige. For example, he's going to teach boxing. Because yun yung kanyang expertise eh. Siyempre, you need to teach lang kung ano kung saan ka expert. Okay? So kung for example, ang content is about boxing, then he can teach. Okay? So the answer here is letter B. Yes, he has excelled and gained international recognition. That's why he is allowed to teach. Okay? Pero, specific lang po dun sa kanyang specialization. Binibigyan po siya ng special permit to teach. Especially, yes, tama po yan. Especially in PE if the subject is about boxing. Okay? Saan po nakalagay ang legal basis nito? This is also reflected in our RA 9293. It's about registration and exemption, especially in Section 26. Sabi dito, a special permit may also be issued by the board, okay, to a person who has excelled and gained international recognition. That's why dun sa ating example, Manny Pacquiao has gained his international recognition in terms of boxing. Then, he will be given a special permit to teach that specific sport. Okay? Pero, kapag po math yung ipapaturo sa kanya, kapag po ipapaturo sa kanya ay science, hindi na po pwede. Because, hindi po yun yung kanyang recognition. Hindi po siya doon na-recognize. Okay? For example, Lea Salonga as well. Okay, she can teach in music because doon yung kanyang international recognition. But she is not allowed to teach science, math, or Filipino kasi hindi po yun yung nabigyan siya ng international recognition. Okay, yun po yung ibig sabihin ng section na ito under our RA 9293. That's why, again, Manny Pacquiao is allowed to teach specific on his. Okay, remember ha, specific on his, okay, his expertise or field of expertise. That is your Manny Pacquiao. Okay, how about this item? Can a licensed professional teacher teach after continuous 5 years of not practicing the teaching profession? For example, ikaw ay licensed teacher. Nag-apply ka abroad. And then sa abroad, hindi naman teaching yung iyong ginawa doon. After 5 years, ikaw ay bumalik sa Pilipinas. And then gusto mo ulit magturo. Are you allowed to teach? Okay? Yes or no? Or it depends. Okay? Is it yes or no unless he or she has earned 12 units of the refresher course in the education? Or letter C, that depends on the LET rating? Or letter D, that depends on the GPA in college? What should be the basis? Okay, ano kailangan mo dapat gawin? Okay, remember kapag po 5 years, okay? Kapag po 5 years tayong walang ginawa o hindi tayo nag-practice ng ating profession as teaching. Okay? Then, ang kailangan mong gawin is to have 12 units of refresher course. Tama po yan. Okay? 6 units for content and 6 units for professional education or pedagogy. Okay? This is also included in Republic Act number 9293. Ang ating basis po for that question is our RA 9293. Okay, it says here that professional teachers who have not practiced their profession for the past 5 years, ang kailangan niyang gawin ay kumuha ng 12 units of education courses consisting of 6 units in pedagogy and 6 units of content courses. Okay? Or the equivalent training and number of hours. Okay, and this is to be chosen from a list of courses to be provided by the board and the Department of Education before they can be allowed to practice their profession in the country. So, ibig sabihin, kung ikaw po ay nag-abroad and ikaw ay naging inactive for 5 years in teaching, then you have to have, okay, a 12 units of refresher courses consisting of 6 units pedagogy and 6 units of content courses. Okay, yun po ang nakapabilang sa ating RA 9293. That is the basis. Okay, that's the legal basis of that question. Okay, how about this item? Okay, now let's move on to our code of ethics for professional teachers. Okay, remember, inside of a classroom, we are models. Even though we are outside of the classroom, we are models. Okay, and we have to uphold these different codes of ethics for professional teachers. Kasi kung hindi, tayo po ay pwedeng matanggalan ng ating mga lisensya. Okay, sige, let's talk about this code of ethics for professional teachers. Remember, pursuant to the provisions of paragraph E in Article 11, if you're going to go back to your RA 7836, nakalagay po doon that kailangan pong i-follow ni teacher, ng isang professional teacher, ang code of ethics mentioned. Okay? Mentioned. Now, let us see. No, let us apply this different code of ethics in terms of our okay, in terms of our code of ethics. Okay, I guess this is our last item for this evening under codes of ethics. Sige, let's start first with this first question. In the preamble of the Code of Ethics for Professional Teachers, which of the following teacher descriptions is included in the Code of Ethics of the Professional Teachers? Ayan, sabi ni Ma'am Beverly, wag na sumayaw sa TikTok na naka-uniform. Yes, meron pong bagong baba na DepEd memo about that. Yung mga nagsusuot ng uniform while doing their TikTok, tapos iba't ibang mga steps ang mga ginagawa na nagpapakita ng movement ng mga puwet or whatsoever, no? Let's avoid that. Kasi social media now is very powerful. Okay? Ang dami pong pwedeng magawa sa social media. That's why we have to avoid that. Okay? So what's the answer for this? Okay? Which of the following teacher descriptions is included in the code of ethics for professional teachers? Is it letter A, with satisfactory teaching performance? Or letter B, duly licensed professional? Or letter C, persons of dignity and reputation? Or letter D, pass the licensure examinations for teacher? Which of the following is a teacher description? Okay, sagot po tayo. Letter B, duly licensed professional. Okay. Saan po ba kabilang ang duly licensed professional? Ito po ay nakasama saan? How about letter D, pass the licensure examination for teachers? Yan po ba ang sagot? Okay, what's the answer po for this item? Yes, the correct answer po for this item is you are a person of dignity and reputation. Now, let's read, Lahat po tayo, basahin po natin ang ating preamble. I want you to read this preamble. Okay? Now, remember, teachers are duly licensed professionals who possesses dignity and reputation with high moral values, as well as technical and professional competence in the practice of their novel profession. And they strictly adhere to observed and practice this set of ethical and moral principles, standards, and values. Remember, we are teachers. We are models. Okay? Dapat we uphold these different values, these different standards and principles that is actually stipulated in the Code of Ethics of Professional Teachers or per professional teachers. Okay, again, this is the last slide for our discussion this evening. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, thank you po for joining our session this evening. Now, again, meron po tayong another session next meeting, okay, at tomorrow for our teaching profession. Okay, maraming salamat po sa ating pag-join at pag-tune in po sa ating live this evening. Thank you po sa ating lahat. Ayan, and I hope na we'll be able to pass the board exam. Actually, yung ating mga last taker, last October 2, sila ay kinakabahan na because any of this day, lalabas na po ang ating result. And after that, kayo na po ang susunod, ang inyong mga pangalan na po ang susunod sa listahan ng ating mga future LPTs. Thank you so much po for joining our session this evening. Again, kayo na po ang mga susunod na LPT po. Okay? Just wait for your name later on after your exam this March 2023. Okay, thank you so much po for joining. Thank you po. Thank you. Thank you so much po. Thank you so much.